Welcome back to Men Without Limits, guys. As you are aware, or if you're new, the whole point of this channel is to help you as men who are struggling or don't know exactly what to do or how to even start becoming that version of yourself that you've always known was possible. Well, that's why you're here. With my guidance, we can get you to that point where you can become a man without limits yourself. If you're looking to work one-on-one with me, just click the link below in the comment section and schedule a time and date. We'll get it going from there, guys. But before we hop in, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. All right, so this video is kind of very, very important because it will change your life starting today. So make sure you watch until the end. Until the end, okay? Do that for me. Because I promise you, it'll make a change. So, you're probably wondering, well, there's so much bullshit going on in my life, right? And not just in your life, but what kind of you're having surround you, right? So for you, you could have your friends talking about this event going on, something on the news you might have heard, you know, someone posting this, someone posting that, you see all this video. There's all this stimulation that's kind of just everywhere and making you overwhelmed, to say the least. And not just you, but everyone, right? There's so many things that are in our face trying to get our attention, try to take away from our ability to focus, that we get overwhelmed. And with all the news going on, everything kind of puts forth this idea of fear of all these issues arising, or that have been there, but they're just pointing the focus to them, right? To say the least, it becomes stressful, right? And stress is not great in life. It really sucks. The less stress you have, the better life you will have, right? And who doesn't want a better life? And the less stressed you are, the better you'll be at doing the things you need to help better yourself, right? Whether it be your body, working on your body, making sure it's healthy, strong, fit, working on your business, or at your job, having the ability to have energy and complete whatever tasks needed to get the job done, right? You know, with your relationships, having the energy, kind of just feeling good, not being stressed out, and actually being able to communicate and be there for your partner, and so on and so forth. Like, you could apply this to everything. The first thing you can do is, ready? Get rid of social media completely. Oof. I know that sounds crazy. Now, I will be doing another video you can watch right after this. So it's gonna be an actual review that I did myself of completely getting off, you know, Snapchat, Instagram. I was never on Twitter, so didn't have to worry about that. Kind of on TikTok, but not really. Got rid of that. And just how getting rid of that changed my life, right? So that's gonna be in the next video. But completely getting rid of social media is the first point I want you to keep in mind. Now, social media in of itself probably takes up so much of your time, if not everyone else's. That's where we receive attention. That's where we look for approval. That's where we kind of satisfy our pleasures. That's where pretty much so much of any free time we have goes towards to. And even though it's like fun, you know, good interactions make you laugh, make you happy, maybe you get aroused when you see a good looking woman on there, what benefit does it do for you? Unless maybe you use it for business purposes to kind of put your content out there, or, you know, advertise for your company, or so on and so forth. Understandable. But outside of that, social media, it doesn't really help you gain anything, quite honestly, right? And it's just not the best. You have so many things coming at you, trying to take your attention once again, right? And you're just trying to like keep going, because you get that spike in dopamine that you're just like, oh, wow, that's exciting, new. You want the next new thing, and the next new thing. So there's always this content that's being refreshed and like trying to be poured into you so you can watch it and observe it. And it's cool, but it's not good for you, because then all your space and time is being occupied on this one thing, social media. And then let's say you have work, you go to work, And then out of work, you go to social media again, or maybe you do something. But so when do you actually have the time for other things in your life, right? And with all these different things being thrown at you, then your thoughts become so quickly, let's say, swayed, right? And most of us, I'll be honest, probably don't go out and try to further look for other things based on what we see. You might hear on the news like, oh, this man shot this woman because da 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 da, right? And then bam, you just listen to that first name basis, cool. But a lot of people don't go out the way and be like, well, is that truly what happened? Is there more to the story? Is there a reason he did that? Maybe she was threatening him, or maybe, that's the truth, who knows? But regardless, as you can see, just by that example, a lot of people, from whatever they hear, the first source they hear, that's the side they're gonna take, right? And that's not good either. So, get rid of social media. Just try it out. I understand it's hard, so honestly, just slowly implement yourself to a time limit. Have that shrink down weekly. So having that time limit decrease is gonna be really good, little by little, because if you try to do a hard stop, unless you're very disciplined up here, it's not gonna work out. You're gonna relapse, and it might just be worse for you. So that's why slowly decrease the limit for each day weekly, and then by each week, just a little bit, till you get to the point where you could completely delete that app. Cool, you got that? Write it down, put it in your notes section in your phone, set a reminder, I don't know. Just get it done, all right? Number 1 was get rid of social media completely, right? Number 2, is ready? I don't believe a lot of us, especially, us men in my generation, maybe older men, who are maybe closer to their late 30s, 40s, probably tend to look at the news more, but men more so in our 20s or early 30s don't necessarily look at the news as much as those men do. But what I will say is, stop looking at the news. Stop. What exactly do you gain from looking at the news? Is it really that informative? Do you need to hear all those stories? If there is an issue that you hear from a coworker or your family that's kind of like concerning, whether it be about war, maybe the financial market, how it's going, stuff along those lines, and then by all means you could look into it, but don't actively allow yourself to look at the news. Like, I haven't listened to the news probably since, I never really listened to it. It'd just be on when probably my dad would watch it, even he stopped. But maybe since I was like 12, 13, maybe 14. I want to say at least 13. So like 10 years of not listening to the news. And honestly, I haven't missed anything, because guess what? You're still going to get it from other ways, right? Once again, social media is basically the news, which kind of ties into getting rid of news. But at the same time, people talk about it wherever you are, right? So regardless, you're going to be informed of whatever's going on, if it's really that important. Because a lot of what they put out there is not important, which kind of further subjugates to the next subtopic of why I need to stop watching the news, is because they are trying to push their agendas. This is not some conspiracy theory. This is not me trying to make you guys seem frightened, but wholeheartedly, that's what they do. That's the thing that drives people, right? Fear. If you make someone happy, that doesn't really get them to act. But if you give them fear, or you go at whatever they fear, that's going to drive them to not feel that fear, or even pain. But more so, the news can't really inflict pain, so that's why they use fear. That's why they use news stories that will generate fear in people. A lot of war, shootings, tragedy, so on and so forth. That's why that's kind of like the big stuff. And all the other stuff is like, oh, that's nice. But then that's what people really listen, right? For example, when 9/11 occurred, that was probably on the news because I was very young at the time. But that, from what I, can assume and what I've heard, that was on the news 24/7 for I don't know how long. And even for that next year, couple years after, the US as a whole was in a kind of a state of fear from terrorism, right? And that wasn't just because 9/11 happened and that was that. No, it's because The news pushed the story of 9/11, of terrorists attacking the US, trying to take away our freedom, our liberty, so on and so forth. So news does have an agenda. Now, that agenda obviously can change, but it's not changed for the better. It's probably the same agenda they've always had, which is to keep the masses, us, distracted and in a state of fear. So I highly recommend you stop watching the news. All right? Do this and get rid of social media. I promise you will start having a better life going forward. All right? Now, that is all for this video, because those 2 points are really what I want to highlight to help you kind of get rid of all the bullshit trying to distract you and take away your focus and your attention. Right? Make sure to check out my next video, which is going to be on my personal review of what it was like to get off social media, right? And how it went for me, how long I did it, and why I recommend, if you already haven't realized, to do it. But with that, I hope you guys have a great day. Continue to strive to be your best self. And once you achieve that, keep going further, because you didn't know you could reach that, but you did. All right, LPT Leader out.